Let's go back, way back, to 624 CE. In the stark, sun-beaten desert of Arabia, near a small cluster of wells called Badr, history itself seems to be holding its breath. Two very different forces are about to collide, and this single encounter is going to change the course of everything. Okay, so let's really dive into this, because this wasn't just another battle in the sand. This was a defining moment, a test of faith, a masterclass in military strategy, and a point in time where the physical and the spiritual seemed to completely intertwine. I mean, look at the mismatch here. On one side, you have this small band of believers, just over 300 of them, many with barely any armor, armed mostly with an unshakable conviction. And on the other side, the powerhouse of Mecca, the Quraysh. We're talking 1,000 soldiers, well-armed, well-equipped, defending their entire way of life. The stakes couldn't be higher. This fledgling community was literally facing total annihilation. Now, you might expect a chaotic, messy charge right off the bat, but that's not what happened. The battle actually began with a deep-seated Arab tradition, a moment of pure drama and incredible symbolism, the Duel of Champions. So 3 of Mecca's most formidable warriors step out and they issue a challenge. And they're very specific. They want to fight men of their own tribe, their own standing. They were basically saying, hey, send out your A-team. We don't want to fight the rookies. So how does the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, respond? Well, this is just a profound lesson in leadership. He doesn't just pick any 3 warriors. He sends his own family into the fray. His uncle Hamza, his cousin Ali, and his kinsman Ubaidah. I mean, think about that. He was proving that he would never ask a sacrifice of his followers that he wasn't willing to make himself, with his own blood. Talk about putting skin in the game. And the outcome? The believers won. All 3 duels. Decisively. This opening act was like winning the first 3 rounds of a title fight by knockout. It sent this jolt of electricity and confidence through the much smaller army. And, you can bet, it seriously rattled the Meccans before the real battle had even started. So, as you can imagine, the Meccans are enraged. Their champions have just been defeated in front of everyone. Confident in their massive numbers, they unleash a furious, all-out assault. But the believers don't just meet this chaos with more chaos. Instead, they execute a brilliant, patient, and calculated defense. They just hold their line. They force the massive Meccan army to cross that open ground, taking arrow fire the whole way, draining their energy, breaking up their neat formations. It was all about discipline over brute force. And as they held this disciplined line, a chant started to rise from their ranks. Ahad, Ahad, which means 1-1. This was so powerful because it did 2 things at once. It was a battlefield cry to keep everyone focused and unified, and it was a powerful declaration of their core belief, the absolute oneness of God. It was their why. Then, and only then, at the perfect moment, after the Meccan charge had lost its steam and started to falter, the call for the counterattack came, and the Prophet, peace be upon him, led from the front, reciting a verse that had been revealed to him, a prophecy foretelling this exact moment. This was more than just a military command. It was a demonstration of absolute faith in a promised victory. Okay, so we've covered strategy and steel, but that's really only half the story, because this battle was also fought in a different arena, in the minds and hearts of every single fighter on that field. This is fascinating. The night before the battle, the Prophet, peace be upon him, saw the massive enemy army in a vision, but they appeared small, few in number. He shared this vision with his followers, and you can just imagine the effect. It was like the ultimate pre-game pep talk, removing that sense of being hopelessly outnumbered that could have paralyzed them with fear. And this psychological effect actually played out on the battlefield. To the believers, the enemy force continued to look small, manageable. It boosted their courage. But for the Meccans, they saw the opposite. They looked at the small band of believers and saw nothing more than slaughter meat. And that fostered a deadly overconfidence. It made them reckless, sloppy, and sure of an easy win. And that brings us to the unseen allies. The Quran itself states that thousands of angels were sent down, and their mission was twofold. Yes, to join the fight, but just as importantly, to act as an assurance to your hearts, to solidify the resolve of the believers, and to strike terror into their opponents. It was like the cavalry showing up, except this cavalry was invisible, terrifying, and divinely sent. So all of this really points to a key concept we can call the divine equation. And the idea is this: divine aid wasn't a substitute for human effort. It was a multiplier. It amplified what was already there. The believers first had to plan, they had to stand firm, they had to struggle and prove their resolve. You don't get the cheat codes until you've proven you can play the game. The human struggle was the prerequisite for the miracle. So when you put all of these pieces together, the brilliant strategy, the iron discipline, the courageous leadership, and this profound faith, the result was, well, it was absolutely decisive. 70. That's the number. 70 of Mecca's most important leaders, their nobles, their commanders, were either killed or captured at Badr. I mean, this was so much more than just a military loss. This was a strategic decapitation strike. The Quraysh didn't just lose an army, they lost their entire C-suite. Their command structure was left in absolute tatters, and it would take them years to recover. And when you look at the final numbers, the story becomes crystal clear. 14 martyrs on the Muslim side, 70 killed and another 70 captured on the Meccan side. For the believers, this incredibly lopsided victory was seen as nothing less than a clear sign, an undeniable validation of their cause and of divine protection. So in the end, Badr became more than just a battle. It became proof of a whole new concept of power. It established this new paradigm. This idea that human effort, when it's aligned with divine will, could achieve what seemed absolutely impossible. It's a lesson that would echo for centuries. And it leaves us with this powerful question. How do moments of profound faith, when combined with our own actions, change what we believe is truly possible?